Inflation and beyond, the real reasons behind rising living costs. In a world where the cost of a cup of coffee can rival that of a small luxury, many are left wondering, why does life seem so prohibitively expensive? From skyrocketing housing prices to the staggering costs of healthcare and education, the financial pressures on everyday individuals have never been more palpable. This isn't just a matter of fluctuating prices. It's a complex web woven from inflationary spirals, economic policies, and global events. As we navigate this financial labyrinth, understanding the roots of our affordability crisis is not just insightful, but essential for finding viable solutions. Join us as we unravel the threads of today's economic challenges and explore why making ends meet has become an increasingly Herculean task. So, without any further delay, let's get started. Number 1. Economic policies and global events. Economic policies and global events play pivotal roles in shaping today's high cost of living. Governments' fiscal policies, including interest rate adjustments and stimulus measures, can influence inflation and overall economic stability. For example, expansive monetary policies and substantial government spending during economic downturns can lead to inflation, driving up prices for goods and services. Simultaneously, global events such as trade wars, geopolitical tensions, and pandemics create disruptions in supply chains, causing shortages and price hikes. The COVID-19 pandemic, for instance, led to significant supply chain disruptions and increased demand for certain goods, further fueling inflation. Trade barriers and sanctions can also restrict the flow of essential goods, exacerbating price increases. Together, these factors contribute to the rising costs of living, making everyday expenses increasingly unaffordable for many. Number 2. Consumerism. Consumerism significantly impacts today's rising cost of living. In a culture driven by constant consumption, demand for goods and services frequently outpaces supply, leading to higher prices. The pursuit of new and upgraded products encourages spending, often supported by easy credit and promotional tactics, which can inflate prices across various sectors. Additionally, consumerism fuels the demand for premium, brand-name products, which often come with higher price tags. This trend is exacerbated by planned obsolescence, where products are designed to have a limited lifespan, prompting frequent replacements and further driving up costs. The emphasis on consumer culture also shifts focus away from sustainability and cost efficiency, contributing to resource depletion and environmental impact, which can drive up prices in the long run. Consequently, the high demand and frequent purchasing behaviors inherent in consumerism contribute significantly to the affordability crisis many face today. Number 3. Wages versus cost of living. The disparity between wages and the cost of living is a central factor in today's affordability crisis. Despite rising living expenses, wage growth has often lagged behind inflation and increasing costs. As housing, healthcare, and education prices surge, many workers find their salaries insufficient to keep up with these demands. This imbalance is compounded by stagnant wages in many sectors, while the cost of essential goods and services continues to climb. As a result, even those with steady employment struggle to manage basic expenses, let alone save or invest for the future. Inadequate wage increases relative to inflation mean that many households are spending a larger share of their income on necessities, reducing their overall purchasing power and financial stability. This growing gap between earnings and living costs is a critical driver of why life feels increasingly expensive and unaffordable for many people. Number 4. Cost of living. The cost of living encompasses the expenses required to maintain a standard quality of life, including housing, food, healthcare, and transportation. Recently, this cost has surged, contributing significantly to why life feels so expensive and unaffordable. Housing markets, driven by high demand and limited supply, have seen property prices and rents skyrocket, squeezing household budgets. Simultaneously, essential goods and services have become pricier due to inflation and supply chain disruptions. Rising healthcare costs and educational expenses further strain personal finances, as these critical services increasingly outpace wage growth. Additionally, lifestyle inflation, where higher income leads to increased spending on non-essential items, also pressures budgets. As the cost of maintaining a basic standard of living rises faster than wages, many people find themselves struggling to keep up, making everyday expenses a significant burden. Number 5. Healthcare and education costs. Healthcare and education costs have become significant contributors to the rising cost of living, making life feel increasingly unaffordable. In healthcare, escalating prices are driven by technological advancements, administrative overhead, and high costs of pharmaceuticals. Despite improvements in medical technology, these advancements often come with hefty price tags, which are passed on to patients. Additionally, the complexity of healthcare billing and lack of price transparency further exacerbate financial strain. Similarly, education costs have surged, particularly in higher education. Rising tuition fees, coupled with student loan interest rates, lead to substantial debt burdens for graduates. The growing demand for specialized skills and degrees has pushed up the cost of obtaining higher education, while wage growth has not kept pace with these increasing costs. Together, soaring healthcare and education expenses consume a larger portion of household budgets, intensifying the overall affordability crisis. Number 6. Supply chain vulnerabilities. Supply chain vulnerabilities significantly contribute to the rising cost of living, making life more expensive and unaffordable. Disruptions in global supply chains, whether from geopolitical tensions, natural disasters, or pandemics, lead to shortages of goods and raw materials. These interruptions cause production delays and increased costs for manufacturers, which are then passed on to consumers in the form of higher prices. For example, the COVID-19 pandemic highlighted how fragile global supply chains can be, leading to shortages of everything from electronics to groceries. Transportation bottlenecks and increased shipping costs further exacerbate price hikes. Additionally, reliance on just-in-time inventory systems means that any disruption can quickly lead to significant shortages and price increases. These vulnerabilities result in inflated costs for everyday items and services, straining household budgets, and contributing to the overall unaffordability of modern life. Number 7. Technological advancements. Technological advancements, while often beneficial, contribute to the rising cost of living in several ways. New technologies typically come with high initial costs for research, development, and implementation. These expenses are often passed on to consumers through higher prices for tech products and services. Moreover, the rapid pace of technological innovation drives a constant demand for upgrades and replacements. As consumers feel pressure to stay current with the latest gadgets and systems, they incur additional costs. Planned obsolescence, where products are designed to have a limited lifespan, also forces frequent upgrades, compounding expenses. Additionally, while technology can improve efficiency and productivity, the transition period can lead to increased costs. For instance, automation and advanced machinery can initially be expensive to implement, and these costs are reflected in the prices of goods and services. Consequently, the financial burden of staying technologically up to date adds to the overall unaffordability of daily life. And that's a wrap on today's deep dive into why life feels so expensive and unaffordable. We've touched on everything from inflation to healthcare and education costs, and the influence of consumerism, wage gaps, and supply chain issues. We've also explored how technological advancements, while innovative, can add to our financial pressures. Understanding these factors is crucial in navigating today's economic landscape. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. We'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. What's your take on the rising cost of living? Thanks for watching, and see you next time as we continue to explore the big issues shaping our world.